Students are on board.
Mask wearing is, a yes for me, obviously on public transport and also in the classroom.
I think it's a good idea because, especially in winter, you can get cold really easily.
Schools are on board.
I'll certainly be sending out a message to my community recommending that our staff and our children wear masks while they're indoors. Just adds another layer of protection for our staff.
But state governments remain steadfast.
We're not mandating masks. What we're doing is saying that we strongly encourage students and staff to wear them.
A big onus on personal responsibility.
The Victorian Education Department has sent a letter to schools saying they expect all kids aged 8 and above to wear masks from today.
This action will help make sure as many students and staff as possible are protected from COVID and other winter illness.
But
Well, let's be clear, it's not a mandate.
I do personally wish they'd just come out and say, we would like you to wear masks in the classroom.
As long as the protocols are in place and they're aware of what they need to be doing at school, then I think that it's life as usual.
in New South Wales, kids are back in class, with the government on a month-long blitz distributing 9 million rats and free masks.
We know we're in the middle of July, peak of winter, COVID, flu. We'll continue to watch the numbers, and what we'll do is obviously make decisions after that.
Teachers' unions across the country are imploring the states to make decisions now to mandate masks in schools, and with good reason. So far, there have been close to 1 million COVID infections in kids, with just 40% of 5 to 11-year-olds fully vaccinated.
We continue to call on the government to ensure that they are complying with the available health advice to ensure that our schools are as safe as possible.
We know most kids won't get seriously sick, but as we head into the worst of this winter wave, could masks in schools slow the spread to those who will?
Well, epidemiologist Tony Blakely is across this, and we caught up with him earlier. Tony, what is the evidence that masks actually work to stop the spread in children?
Well, the evidence of mask works is strong. If I wear a cloth mask, 40% reduction in my risks. N95 mask, an 80% reduction. Amongst kids, they're less likely to get it, but they still get it. So if half the kids do it well and 25% of the kids do it okay and 25% of the kids don't do it very well at all, it will still help bring things down, and that's what we're trying to do. But we're about protecting the health service at the moment, so we're doing it with schools. We should also be asking people in workplaces to be wearing masks more, encouraging people to get vaccinated. It needs a full court press at the moment.
Tony, state governments are strongly encouraging the wearing of masks. Would you bring in a mask mandate?
No. I don't think our society would tolerate it at the moment, and nor do I think it's necessary just yet. Mandatory, if in 2 to 3 weeks' time the health services were really falling over, and despite promoting vaccines to people, despite encouraging people to wear masks, despite enforcing mask wearing on public transport where it's still mandatory, if those things don't work, then maybe at that point. But at this point in time, no, it doesn't need to be mandatory.
There's no doubt things aren't great right now, though, Tony. At least 75 people died overnight. Any way we look at this, we're facing a serious wave. How bad do you think it's going to get, and when do you think it will peak?
OK, how bad is it going to get? Well, it's going to get worse than it is now. Exactly how bad depends on all the things we just talked about. We can take the edge off this. I'm expecting it to peak sometime in August and then fade away. And unfortunately, this pandemic's going to roll on for probably several more years yet. But hopefully, each time a new wave comes along, it's a little less than the last one, and we just slowly work this thing through society.
It's an interesting conversation to have with your kids too, Tony, because I think whether you like it or not, a lot of people are just wanting to think that this is all behind us. Move forward, kids. We're not going back into lockdown. Don't stress. It's all going to be OK. And then you look at the death rates, you look at how it's spreading, and it hasn't gone away and it's still an issue. But bringing the mask back, I know that's just a baby step and something that is essential for us all to do. But then the conversations with the little people do begin about what's next and the fear and all of that. How would you suggest families have those conversations?
Oh, look, this is challenging, and I've heard some politicians recently say, we must have certainty. Well, actually, we're living in an uncertain time. This virus will keep doing things. So we need to be able to accept uncertainty. We need to know that from time to time, we're going to have to put our mask up, literally. But there'll be other times where we can drop it and we can live normally for 4, maybe even 6 months, and then we'll be back into it for a little wee while. And we just need a society to learn to go with the flow on this a bit.
Go with the flow. Kids love that, Tony. Good conversation starter for us all. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. I hope that was useful.